to give our audience some perspective, Mark wrote a book years ago forecasting in April of 2024 that Iran would attack Israel. And I can't help but notice that you hit the nail on the head. And the thing is, this is it's it's really nothing to do with supernatural. It's about just using your Bible correctly and using
Right.
the biblical calendar correctly and understanding
Yeah.
the
Yep.
math of the
Yep.
Shemitah cycles and everything.
Yep.
And it's, I applaud you for, focusing out all the noise, getting all the noise out of your head and just focusing on what really matters, which is the signs in the heaven, the biblical calendar, and, the math.
That
Yeah, amen.
exactly. That's what it comes down to. In the book of Daniel, chapter 10, we see that Daniel is praying for 3 weeks. He's praying and fasting, and it's during the month of Nisan or April.
Hey, go figure.
Okay? And this
Interesting.
messenger appears to him and he says, I've been fighting the Prince of Persia, that's Iran, for the
Right.
last 3 weeks. And guess what? It began on Nisan 3, which was exactly the 72 hours before the attack. The 3 days
Hmm.
that America knew before they were attacked. That is the very same day Daniel started praying. And that's
Wow.
it's all about a battle with Iran. And then the angel tells him on the 24th of Nisan, he tells him this whole vision is about the end times. This is what's going to happen to your people in the last days. And now I have to go back and fight the Prince of Persia or Iran. And so when I see it's like there's a heavenly battle going on. And at the same time, it's parallel to our universe where there's an earthly battle going on. And they're happening simultaneously.
So,
Interesting. You,
can
you know,
you
there's something interesting. Isn't it in Daniel also during that time where he sees the vision of the two rivers on the one side and the
And
other
the
side?
angel stands on the either side.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all of that. Yeah.
You know what's interesting? Are you familiar with Lighted Way Ministries?
No.
They have a ministry down in, I think it's Eugene, Oregon. It's a husband and wife couple that teach a lot from the Torah, and they also do a lot of work with the signs in the heavens. She was the first person that had brought up that the end of the festival of first fruits this year on April 28th, if you count from that day to 1,260 days, it lands on the day of atonement in
Yom Kippur.
2027.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have there's an actual period of time between two festivals that matches 1,260 days. So it's really interesting that you made your point about Daniel fasting and praying and talking to the angel, and in that same context is that reference between the division of the rivers.
Yes.
that's
Yes.
interesting. That's actually pretty incredible. And do you mind explaining the spirit of the Amalek and how it's relevant to everything that you're talking? I'm just trying to help the audience
Yeah.
visualize how you piece this together, because it's not a lucky guess, guys. This is through really knowing the Bible and the heavens and the biblical calendar, and
Yes.
it's really, yeah.
I just can hardly wait for both of you to get my book. I'm going to send it both to you guys, and wait till you read
Great.
it. It's mind blowing.
I
But
will.
and you're just so educated on all this anyway. You're going to love this.
Oh,
But
I'm stoked.
well, Amalek, you know what Hamas did to Israel, where they were chopping off
Hmm.
their heads and their body parts? Do you know why they were doing that?
No.
Because they wanted to force the Israelis to buy the body parts of their kids so they could have something to bury.
What?
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, cut off their arm, and then when the Israelis want their children back, well, we got an arm. How much are you going to give for their arm?
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, they're
Are you
sick.
serious?
I'm serious. I'm serious. Do you know what the nation of Amalek? What do you know what Amalek means in Hebrew?
No.
Is a people group, a nation. Malak is who chops up bodies. The very name
Huh.
Amalek is a people who wants to chop up people.
Wow.
And that's exactly what Hamas is. And Hamas means violence in Hebrew. But
Right.
Amalek was when, after the original Exodus and they flee Egypt, they're in the wilderness. Now, most people, when they go to war for two things: either to defend themselves or to get land.
Right.
But Israel had neither of those. Israel wasn't attacking Amalek. They didn't need to defend themselves. And Israel had no land. The only reason Amalek was attacking, and who did they attack? The infants, the elderly, which is
Yeah.
exactly who Hamas was also attacking and kidnapping, you know. And so God said, look, God said, I'm going to wage war with you in every generation for all of history,
Right.
basically. And
Yeah.
Hitler was a type of Amalek. It's
Yeah.
annihilation, just kill all the Jewish people. And Amalek, just like Jacob and Esau wanted to kill Jacob. Well, Esau's grandson was Amalek. And it just continues through that line. And when you go to Psalms 83, it's a prophetic war that hasn't taken place yet. And you'll see Amalek is involved. And so Amalek speaks of Iran and their axis of evil, the Houthis, Hezbollah, Hamas. And so what we have to realize that spirit of Amalek, if you remember, Haman in the book of Esther was from the royal line of the Amalekites. And so Saul, he did not kill all the Amalekites like he was supposed to 1,000 years earlier. So what happens? Mordecai is Saul's descendant, and Haman is the king of the Amalekites, Agag's descendant. So it's the same descendants coming back to fight. And so
Mm.
there Amalek attacks again. Now, going back to knowing the calendar, the first time Amalek attacked was the month after Nisan, because that's when they left Egypt, and it's the month of Iyar, the second month. The next time Amalek attacked is in the book of Esther and Purim, which is in the last month of the year, the 12th month. So here you have the 12th month and the second month. When's the next time to attack? Right in the middle, the first month, Nisan. And so you see the pattern, because spring is the time for war, it says in the Bible. Well,
Hmm.
Nisan's right in the middle of spring. And so he tried in the last month of spring, the first month of spring, and now he's trying right in the middle of spring. Plus Daniel's vision. So I knew there was going to be attack in the month of Nisan. But it's just
Yeah.
from looking and knowing the patterns in the biblical calendar.
Yeah. The it's you know what's interesting is, like you said, God had instructed them to wipe out the complete town, men, women, children, and
Yep.
animals, and
Yep.
they didn't.
Yep.
And it's and this is why. But
Consequences of
click.
your actions.
I mean, holy moly, it's yeah. So that's great. Now, Watchful, you said you wanted to ask him a question that was going to kind of switch gears.
Oh well, when you were talking about all the different false prophets out there on the internet that are saying different things and seeing a lot of different signs and wonders, Kip brought this up this morning reading Ezekiel 13, which deals with false prophets speaking from their own heart, saying things
Yes.
like "Hear the word of the Lord." There's a lot of references to flooding and hail. In fact, the false prophets are actually called hailstones, which is an interesting connection with the fall of the dragon down to the earth, with Satan being cast down to the earth. He casts a flood out after the woman. It's just a kind of a data point there. I don't know if you have anything to say on that, but it seems like the possibility of that flood could be a flood of false prophets.
I would totally agree. I think that's definitely a possibility. I think hit the nail
Yeah.
on the head there, Watchful.
Yeah, yeah. If you guys haven't read that, read that. That's a really interesting section of scripture. That's Ezekiel 13.
Oh
So,
yeah, God is so upset at the false prophets. Basically, Jeremiah was one of the few true prophets. I mean, like 90% of the prophets were all false prophets.
wow. Do you think that
Yeah.
percentage is still the same?
I think it's probably worse.
Yeah. And there is so. Wow. Kip had a question for you. She asked, Mark, where are we in the timeline? Are we at the beginning of the 7 years, a midpoint, or somewhere else?
Okay,
Just,
good question. Again, Daniel was Jewish. The 70 weeks of Daniel refer to 70 Shemitah cycles. So the 7 year tribulation has to begin the beginning of a Shemitah cycle. So when is the next Shemitah cycle? The fall of 2029. So the tribulation cannot start. We can have wars and all kinds of stuff. And I'm not saying the rapture won't happen or will happen, but I'm just saying the tribulation cannot start until the fall of 2029 going into 2030. If it doesn't start then it can't start for 7 more years. It has to be the beginning of a Shemitah cycle because that's what Daniel's vision was of. It was of Shemitah cycles. And if there's one
Given the
left, it would be the beginning of a Shemitah cycle.
given that you have this 1,260-day period between festivals that's coming up, or feasts more specifically, is it possible that it could have started in 2022
See,
and that
that's
we are
just the
in?
question. That's your question. Exactly. Could we already be in it? And that's a big
Correct.
question that people
Hmm.
ask. Could we be about to enter the middle of this?
Right.
The and I'm not one to say absolutely no. I mean, we could, but the only thing that makes me wonder, I guess there's some things that I don't think have been fulfilled yet. I don't really see a peace covenant between
Mm.
Israel and the Arabs yet. And
well,
typically,
actually,
you don't get a peace covenant until after a war. And so I think you have to have these major wars I'm talking about coming up first to get a false peace agreement. We've never seen that false peace agreement yet. That's the
well,
only reason why I would think it hasn't. But hey, I'm not opposed to some of the things it has. We'll find out here pretty soon. But the other
Right.
reason why I don't, and I could be wrong, I don't think I know it all, but the two witnesses that are righteous prophesy the first 3.5 years. The
right,
Antichrist ruled the second 3.5 years. And I
right.
haven't seen two witnesses prophesying in Jerusalem for the last several
Is
years.
is it possible that we have the Shemitah cycles wrong?
Nope,
No.
it's impossible. And the reason why I say that, it's math. If the Hebrew year is divisible by 7, it's a Shemitah cycle. If it's divisible by 49, the following year is the Jubilee year. It's just simple math. Just look at what year it
Hmm.
is, see if it's divisible by 7, and
What
you'll
if
know if it's a Shemitah year.
what if their date is wrong though? This is I actually gave up on calendars because there's so much information out there.
Well, I could. This is what I have for you. I'm giving you in my book. At the last of the book, I list every Shemitah cycle clear back to creation, and every Jubilee year clear back to creation. You can check my math. There's not one error in any of the math. And the amazing thing about it, how I know it's true, is when I look at biblical events that happen. For
Right.
Hmm.
example, the Messiah was born during the 77th Jubilee. Now that's pretty cool.
Right.
But he started at the very beginning of a Shemitah cycle, and it was the 541st Shemitah cycle. Why is that significant? The numerical value of the word Israel is 541 in Hebrew,
Wow.
and he came for his own people. And the very Shemitah cycle he begins with is the numerical value of the children of Israel. I mean, there's things that are just, you know,
Thank you for watching this segment from our live show. We are live every night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, except for the Sabbath period. See you soon.